Good morning, YouTube. Today we're going to start working on the Project F430, and the first thing we're going to do is start cleaning up the interior.
So are you recording all of the nefarious activities?
If you're new to the channel, my name is Dan. This is my garage, and this channel is all about the supercar ownership experience, buying and selling them, maintaining them, DIY work on them. And today we are working on our Project F430, which we're going to flip. So one of my viewers, Justin, actually submitted this car, and I purchased it. And once we sell it, Justin is going to get 1/3 of the net profits. And assuming this works out well, we're going to keep doing this. So if you happen to stumble across some sort of Ferrari or supercar that has a good deal and you think would make a good project car, you can go to my website, normalguysupercar.com, click on the submit a project car link and fill out the information. And if I choose it, we will split the net profits with you 1/3 once we sell that car. Let's take a look at what we got going on today. So if you've watched videos about these older Ferraris, you know that they all seem to get what's called the sticky buttons problem. What's going on is all these buttons have a soft touch coating. It's actually like a weird chemical coating on top of these plastic parts. And what happens is in hot and humid climates such as Texas, that soft touch coating starts to kind of degrade and turn to this like sticky goop. It's not terrible. So when it gets really bad, if you touch it, it'll actually leave a mark on your finger, and your finger will actually like stick to the button pretty good. But you can see these have just a little bit of tackiness, and so we're going to clean that up today. Some of them are doing better than others. Some parts are looking okay. So for example, these parts don't need anything at all. The last owner actually took care of these two buttons, so they're in perfect shape. These buttons are in pretty good shape as well. So I may not actually do anything with these buttons down here. These obviously need some work. These are doing pretty terrible. And of course, you can see that right there looks absolutely atrocious. So those we're gonna have to pull out and clean them up. The rearview mirror feels really good. This is in perfect shape. These buttons are all in good shape. They already took care of the top of the steering wheel cover. It's kind of been repainted or something, so I may actually do something with this. I got a little trick up my sleeve, but the bottom of it looks horrible. So you can see it's all sticky right here. We're gonna get this popped off and take care of that. All of these buttons over here are doing really good, so we're not gonna touch these. Really what it's coming down to is these vents, the door handles, and the steering column are the pieces we need to fix. So the way we remove the soft touch coating is by using isopropyl alcohol and some cloths. So all we do is rub down those parts and scrub until the stuff comes off. You don't want to scrub so hard that you remove the white label on the buttons. You just want to remove the sticky touch stuff. Then once we're all done, we're going to try an experiment. We're actually going to try spraying some of them with this plasti-dip. So I actually have a clear plasti-dip and a black plasti-dip. So obviously the parts that have no labeling, we can use this black plasti-dip. Stuff that does have the labeling, we can try this clear plasti-dip. All right, we're gonna start off by pulling off this piece so that we can get out these vents. So we got to unscrew these 4 little Allen 2mm bolts. All right, so I've got some plastic trim pullers. We're gonna see if we can't get this popped off. I don't know. I'm a little bit nervous about this just because it's carbon fiber and I really don't want to damage it. Ah, there we go. Some more bolts. Good thing I didn't pull too hard. Those look like 4mm. It's almost like it's stuck to... Oh, well, huh. Okay, that makes it easier. There it goes. There. All right, so we're doing the same thing here, just prying it loose, and you just kind of get one of these plastic trim pieces and just gotta get it just right. Ah, see, and then it pops out. So now that I got the vents out, this one is particularly bad. So you can see it actually did leave a gross sticky mess on my finger when I touched it. You can see it actually like left fingerprints in it. So it's just gross and nasty. So we're gonna get all these parts out and then clean them all up. All right, so I was trying to remove the car stereo so I could get to this panel and also get these out, because you can see there is a little bit of stickiness there, and this has some stickiness on this plate. And unfortunately, you need this special tool called a Becker key removal tool, and it's basically this little thing that goes in this tiny hole here to release the car stereo. And I don't have it, and so I just ordered it, and it won't be in for like 1.5 weeks. So I'm gonna have to pause on fixing those, but we'll continue on with the air vents, and we're also gonna get the door handles off, and of course the trim around the steering wheel. There's 2 or 3 little Phillips screws underneath the steering wheel. let's get this door handle off. These are 4mm. So we're getting the door handle out. We gotta remove this Phillips screw that's in here hidden under the door handle. There's another screw. Big Phillips right in here. There's those. Alright, now we're going to take out the trim on this side, doing the same thing. So we got a screw right in here. And then to pop this out, you just pull up. Theoretically. Forgot this one has a little cap you got to pull off. It's glued down, there it is. And there's one more screw right here. There we go. So you can see, just playing around trying to get all those parts out, there is black stuff all over my hands. Obviously these parts have a lot of the sticky buttons problem. We're going to start off with the door handles, so I'm not going to repaint those because I'm not sure. Those are metal. I'm not sure how that's going to come out. Plus they're going to get a lot of finger time, so I think it's going to be best just to scrub them down. So let's start off with just rubbing those down, getting off the sticky, nasty crap, and then we'll move on to all these parts. Alright, so we've got our isopropyl alcohol, the rubbing alcohol, and a towel, which we're going to throw this towel away when we're done, so make sure you don't use a towel you actually want to keep. And we're going to soak this towel in the rubbing alcohol. Plenty of it on there because it's going to get absorbed. And we take our part and we just start rubbing it down, and you should be able to start seeing black nasty stuff come off. See? Yeah, that's what we want to see coming off. See how it actually rubs off the sticky coating. Yeah, as you can see, we've removed a lot of nastiness already, and we're not even very far onto this thing. Okay, so the good news is this button had enough of the soft touch coating that we didn't have to go down to the bare metal. You can see there is no stickiness left to it, and it actually looks pretty good. The downside is that this soft touch stuff, when it gets pushed really hard, can actually dent. It's like if your fingernail were to dig in, or some sort of sharp object, and you can see where the front of the button has some damage from being dug in on it a few times. Until it wears down all the way, you're going to be able to see that. But it is no longer sticky. Even in here, it is not sticky. So you can touch all the functionality of it, and your hand's not going to get all goopy and nasty. So now we're going to move on to the next button. Passenger side switch, we're going to do the same thing, the door handle. So again, get a bunch of rubbing alcohol, soak it in, get the rag nice and soaked with rubbing alcohol, and then just start rubbing. And at first you'll feel it grabbing because it's so nasty. Look at that. That's just disgusting. You can actually see it kind of clean up as it dries. Yeah, see how much it looks a lot better. There's still a little bit right there. Yeah, just gotta keep on going. Alright, it is nice and clean. No stickiness. Much better. Alright. So I'm taking a look at this door handle, and as you can see, this is actually leather. So we don't want to mess with that. It's bolted on using these little bolts right here and right here. So I'm going to separate this into 3 pieces. That way we can actually take care of this and actually recoat it using the plasti-dip. So it turns out it actually splits into 4 pieces. So this one was actually 2 pieces right there. But now that we got it separated, you can just see how nasty this is. So we're gonna start cleaning up all these pieces, and then we're gonna try spraying some of these with plasti-dip. So you can see the coating completely came off on this trim piece. We're going to have to obviously recoat this, so we're going to use some plasti-dip and just respray that entire thing, and we're going to of course spray these other 2 pieces so that all 3 of them match the same color. Alright, we got our plasti-dip and some trim pieces. We're going to shake the crap out of this and then spray it down. All right, it says to wait 30 minutes between coats, so we're gonna go inside and keep on scrubbing other parts while we let these dry. And we're probably gonna put on 2 or 3 coats because we really don't want the stuff to flake off and get beat up while you're using the parts. So the vents actually came out really good. So I'm not gonna put any of the plasti-dip on them. I think they look really pretty decent, and I think the plasti-dip might risk making those look a little bit wonky, so we're not gonna bother. All right, so I've got my first coat on, and you can see this piece looks actually really good, and it's not fully dry, but it's getting there. This piece I'm gonna have to put another layer. You can see it's got some splotches in the middle. This piece also, again, looks really good. So we've got the new pieces we're gonna do. I had to tape off. This is where the VIN is, so obviously we don't want to plasti-dip that. And of course back here is where some sticky stuff is that attaches the leather trim piece, so we tape that off, so we don't want to get plasti-dip on that. We're gonna plasti-dip all of these and make them look uniform. So I've already done about 3 coats, and it's starting to look really good. It's nice and consistent. It's glossy when it's wet, so I just sprayed it, and it kind of dries a little bit more matte, so that's good. I don't want it to be like really shiny, because that just doesn't look right for these parts. I'm just gonna keep coating them until they have a nice thick solid layer that looks really consistent. Well, take a look at that. It looks really pretty good. I have to say, I am very pleased with myself. These parts look excellent, so much better, and they don't stick to me. Holy cow! Ah, yes, it's amazing. I've got the 2 pieces for the steering wheel kind of drying. I had to redo them. I wasn't happy with how it came out, so as you can see, I had to peel off all this nasty stuff and reapply it, but I think I got it down. So the trick was to move kind of in a constant speed, because I had some like drips and runs, and I just wasn't pleased with how it came out. So as you can see, this looks really good. So it should dry in about 30-40 minutes. So let's start putting some of these trim pieces back in. We'll get the car mostly together. I'm gonna leave the center console kind of disassembled because I still want to do those switches and the buttons for the climate control. So I'm waiting until I get that little tool, which isn't gonna be for like a week. So I'll do those later, and we'll get those cleaned up as well. We have some swallows that have a nest here. I can hear them. I think they have babies right now. Every spring they come back and have babies. You guys are noisy, and you poop everywhere. Whoop. So we gotta get this trim piece, and goes through like that. Before we go on all the way, let's get these other screws in. Got my trim piece for this side. We gotta slip it through and then get those screws in the right places. And we put this little piece back in to cover up the hole. All right, those are in. Wow, these pieces came out really good looking. They look great. And again, no stickiness. Oh yes. All right, so I gotta peel off my little protective sticker. Looks like we got a little bit of overspray right there we gotta take care of, but pretty good. Reattach the leather, so let's get those back in there. Because now we gotta kind of like stick it into place. There we go. Wow, so as you can see, the steering column looks so much better now. So we've got all these cleaned up except for I gotta clean up those 2, and I gotta clean up these. The trim around the buttons is kind of nasty, and actually this button almost broken, so I actually ordered this part as well. We're gonna replace that, but this one's actually working just fine. So once we get that little tool, we'll pop this out, and clean up the rest of that. So that's the first day of working on restoring this car and getting it ready to sell to one of you. I think what we're gonna do is do an auction. It's gonna last for about 2 weeks. That's gonna be on our website, normalguysupercar.com. So if you're interested in buying it and you've emailed me, I've already probably sent you an email linking you to the auction. If you're interested in buying this car, I'm not gonna let you just bid on the car. You have to register and all that stuff. That way we don't get fake bids like we did when we tried to sell my last 430. So here's how the auction is gonna work. If you want to bid, you have to register to bid, and it's gonna cost you $10, and it's non-refundable. The reason I'm doing that is, well, if you're interested in the car and you think $10 is too much, then you probably shouldn't be bidding on this car. Also, if you get the high bid at the end of each day, I'm going to send a PayPal invoice, and it's going to be for $500. And the reason is that is your deposit. If you get outbid, I will immediately refund you that $500 unless you say that you're going to bid again, in which case I will contact you and I'll leave that deposit. If you get outbid, you get the $500 back. If you don't get outbid, that $500 is your deposit. It is non-refundable. It goes towards the cost of this car. And that is what I'm doing in order to prevent you from doing bullcrap bids. So that way, if you back out and you say, I changed my mind, I'm keeping $500. Sorry, that's just the way it's gonna work, all right? Go to my website, normalguysupercar.com, go to the shopping section. I'll have links to it. Also, if you want to bid, there's a link in the description below to get registered. So go check those out. This auction should be live by the time this video is up. So if you're interested in checking it out, go do so. Here's what else we're going to be doing on this car. As it sits, I have new tires coming for the car. I couldn't get Michelin's and I couldn't get Pirelli's because they're just not available right now. So I've got Continentals on the way. I've ran those on my Jaguar before. They're really good tires. They're still very, very good. It's the best I could do for now. I'm sorry. I've also got a set of Fab Speed headers coming because I do think the headers are toast on this car. So I don't want you guys to get a car that immediately needs headers to be replaced. So I'm going to foot that bill. That's expensive. Factor that in when you're bidding on this car. This thing is going to be ready to rock and roll. Everything's going to be taken care of. I'm going to make sure that we go through everything, and anything that looks like it needs to be replaced is replaced. So it's ready to roll. All right. So again, go to my website, normalguysupercar.com, get registered to bid. It costs $10. If you're the top bidder, you get a $500 invoice for a deposit. If you don't pay that deposit, I'm taking away your bid. You got 24 hours from the time I send you an invoice to pay it. Otherwise, I'm giving it to someone else. I'm not messing around with these because the last time I got screwed. So this time, sorry guys, I'm not playing around. I'm gonna be very strict on it. If you have any questions or want to discuss the car further, feel free to email me, dan@normalguysupercar.com, and we can talk all about it. And again, if you guys see any other cars that are gonna make a good project car, send them to me. Go to my website, normalguysupercar.com, click on the submit a project car button and fill out the form, submit that car. And if we choose it, we're gonna split the profits 1/3 with you. So we're going to keep doing this over and over. I think this car is going to be sold in about 2 to 3 weeks, so you're going to want to stay tuned for all of that. You guys are awesome. Thank you so much for watching. We've got a ton of car stuff coming your way, so you're going to want to stay tuned. It's going to be sweet.